We've been on for a minute.
Yeah.
But I'll slate
Oh,
it
have we?
if we're ready.
Damn it. Again. We're going to have to erase that herpes part.
I think I might do this whole episode in Christopher Walken's voice. So
Wow.
if anybody has got an issue with the host, it's a good show.
Talented.
It just goes to show.
And now she catches more fish than I do, so I'm grown to regret that.
That does say a lot. I was like, man, I really hope I'm not overselling this. Oh, well.
Probably, I was very, very fat. I was at least 5 pounds heavier then I was now. And, they say...
carried it all in your face. Whether we're elk hunting or mule deer hunting or whitetail hunting, I mean, that's the epicenter, the climax of the year, the hunting season for us, the hunting year.
Yeah, prime
After
time.
that, yeah.
Can he say climax?
I did. I think I can say that. Do we have to mute that?
There's nothing worse than breaking your boots back out again in the spring for shed hunting or whatever it is, and they just smell like the local bowling alleys, rented them out for 3 months straight.
Yeah. And then I also learned over the course of the weekend that a thigh master can be an incredible upper body workout.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned.
You want to bring us in with some music?
Oh, man. Not tonight.
No.
Not tonight.
All right. So this is a musicless intro to The Crave. Another episode of The Crave where we took the long drive up I-5. What town are we in?
We're in Longview.
Longview, Washington. Don't be afraid to speak up.
Okay.
We're with Cory Miller. Cory Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Cory Miller, owner, operator, and custodian of XXX Archery. I found out I remember a long time ago when XXX Archery also shared a website domain with some adult film. I remember calling you and Dustin and being like, this is like, 10 years ago. And I was like, I think your web address might be corrupted because I'm getting a lot of, I don't find it offensive, but there's some adult actresses that are, on your website because XXX could have some other meaning and some other walks of life. But yeah, it's good to good to introduce you.
My oldest son sent me a message and said, "Hey, have you Googled images of XXX Archery?" I said, "Yeah, most of them are of me."
Yeah. But this one definitely is not.
So it is just, for the most part, archery related products. The adult store has been
We
shut
do
down
have the lost customer come in at least twice a year.
Yeah.
Where's your porn?
Where's the back room? You got a curtain back here or something?
Yeah, it was funny because I thought it was a prank phone call. The guy called and asked if we had any edible lube.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, sure do. And he's like, well, how big a container? and I'm still thinking it's a joke, and so I'm playing along with it. I'm like, oh, it was like gallon size, and he's like, well, what flavor? And I'm like, what flavor do you want? And he's like, cherry. And I'm like, yep, we got that. And he's like, all right, well, I'm coming over the bridge.
Oh, no.
And so I'm honestly thinking it was a joke. And so I'm in the range and they're helping a customer. And I hear the door open up and I hear the guy talking. And then I hear the door shut. And I'm like, oh, crap, that was really a customer.
Oh my gosh.
For the other building. And so he walked up and down the sidewalk and then came back in and just kind of stood around and he said, so that's all you do here is archery?
Oh my gosh.
It was kind of an awkward moment, but it was
Yeah.
I could have swore it was a prank phone call, but
Yeah.
Get all
Yeah.
kinds.
I think you get a pass card
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah.
But we're in Longview, Washington with owner of XXX Archery, Cory Miller, and I did a little bit of research on you. I mean, obviously we go back a ways, but there's always something that people don't reveal that you can generally find on the internet. So you've been doing a lot of running. And we were talking a little bit about your long distance running. You shed quite a few pounds, but did not realize Cory Miller, body double for 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah.
I thought I recognized that behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you the ass guy? Are you the ass guy?
Wow. Fresh information. Usually those come up in the
Wow.
credits, but the credits are going so fast.
They go
You don't
fast.
see, and most of the time those are fake names. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very tone.
Yep.
Very.
Hats off
Those
to
are
you
runner's legs.
there. Hats off to you there.
Glutes. But as usual, we're here. Jake Siegel. Not a lot of people know, but I was born with both an over and underbite. Kind of equaled themselves out. A lot of cosmetic work as a youngster, but got that fixed. So, but Jake Siegel, Nate Bailey, also joining us. John Eastburn around the table.
Present.
Are you feeling weird?
No.
Oh, the
no,
eye contact.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Eye contact comment.
Well,
Yeah.
see, actually, it's interesting because Nate also your Men of Archery calendar, Mr. June over there. So he's very
Nice.
He's very.
June's a good month.
that's right.
It's a hot month.
Hot.
It's a hot month.
Yeah.
You want to expand on that photo shoot at
It's
all,
a moist,
Nader?
lathery.
No, you go to Cory's website. He's got it on sale. Use the promo code
Yeah.
Nate. Get 10% off.
It was interesting because you were only wearing a finger tab. Nice
Three
read.
under.
Yeah. And John Eastburn, the Thictator, is I just gave you a new nickname. We're gonna call him the Thictator.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, the worm.
What did I do?
The
Oh, yes.
You're familiar with the worm dance? Well, I don't know if it's really a dance, more of a move. World record holder John Eastburn.
It's a
of
sport.
the worm. Yeah.
It's a sport. And there's people out there that are very passionate about it.
49 and a half worms before breaking
Yeah, and
a pelvic issue.
depending on the size of a person's torso, that could be anywhere between 30 to 100 feet. And mine was right under 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's
It's
good
pretty
work.
amazing.
It's good work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's flat ground too. Downhill's cheating. So it was good. It was good.
Grass or concrete?
We do it on turf.
Okay.
We do it on turf. Yeah, you got to pad up. Otherwise, you just get those turf burns.
Yeah.
Go, sure.
Where do you
Is
put
that
every-
like
I always
turf toe?
wondered where you put everything.
Turf toe. Where do you put everything?
Was it like a
got-
Silence of the Lamb situation where you're tucking and lifting things behind, or how does that work out?
Well, there's a lot of athletic tape. Lot of
double-sided?
athletic tape. Yeah, double-sided. Yeah, and professional sports these days. Some people wear a cup, some people don't. You got to wear a cup.
Yeah.
When you're doing the worm, long distance worming.
Pack it in.
Long distance worming. Yeah, we're lobbying for it to be Olympic sport
In the
Yeah.
19. Yeah. Nice.
So
Cool. Well,
Yeah. Happy to be
cool.
here.
Everybody's present and a little bit more the wiser. So,
Yeah.
but Cory, we've known you for a long time. Probably one of the more prolific archery shops in the Northwest, I'd say. Do you want to just kind of give yourself an intro and let everybody know how you got into archery and what you do, where you're at, what you sell, all that jazz?
It started shooting a bow. I guess I was.
Well, that's maybe a little bit too far back.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think I was actually about 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And didn't grow up in a real hunting family. My dad had hunted apparently before I was born. So I remember seeing some racks in the garage and stuff. But
Locally here? You grew up here?
in St. Helens, Oregon.
Yeah.
So wasn't really exposed to hunting. Had a friend who him and his dad hunted, and they bow hunted, and I went over and shot bows with them and stuff, and decided I wanted to get a bow and got a bow. And being the competitor that I am, probably was only about a year and a half, and then I started going to tournaments and shooting and got into the competition side of it, and kind of did that for quite a few years, and ended up hooking up with Dustin, and we decided to open a shop. And what was that, 2006, 5, somewhere in there? Been, I think, about 12 years or whatever ago. So since then, it's just me. Dustin kind of has kids and other things to do, and started fishing again. And so
that's Dustin Stansbury.
Yeah.
He's a fishing guide now.
Yep, doing fishing and kids and sports and coaching or helping all that, and busy life.
Yeah.
So,
well, what did you do before you got into archery, or at least opened?
For work?
Yeah.
Or just, I worked for Safeway grocery for, been, I think, 15, 18 years. And then I was actually working at a paper mill when we decided to open the shop. So it worked out pretty good. You know, I'd work 4 on, 4 off, so had kind of time to do a shop.
Yeah.
I guess half-ass and work and stuff. So
8 days a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, crazy.
Yeah. And
So-
still, now I
Yeah.
just do it all at
Yeah.
one place now. So
So owning an archery shop, that goes without saying, you're very wealthy. Right?
Yes.
You're a very rich man.
yes, yeah,
Every archery owner I know, archery shop owner, I mean, very well to do.
yep.
Rolling in it.
Yep. I have a rich wife.
Yeah.
That's usually the case. Usually they come from money. They have a spouse that makes money. Yeah. So, well, I mean that obviously it's a passion for
It
you.
is. You know, it's definitely challenging. But yeah, it's not a way to get rich, that's for sure. But you know, I mean, I'm happy. I'm fine. I'm not one to feel like I really need to make a ton of money. You know, as long as I can do the things that I want to do, and I'm happy, and it does allow me to do the things that I do enjoy, which is, you know, hunting, and you know, I don't have as much free time as I wish I had, and the tournament archery has definitely gotten less and less as the business grows and grows. So, but
Now you guys moved. So your first building was, and Nate and I, we came up. I guess I didn't realize you were in business. That like we were up here one of the first few years you were in business. Nate and I came up and did. We were both kind of fresh to the West Coast, at least West Coast hunting, and you and Dustin took us out to do some Roosevelt elk hunting, which was pretty fun. But you guys were in a, what was that?
it was an old meat locker, you know, game processing, cattle processing barn, basically.
Regulation of the heat and
Was
cooling
zero.
was pretty tough. I remember.
It was challenging.
Yeah.
But it was a start, and it was actually, you know, the layout of the building was great. The parking was terrible. The location of the building was terrible. And the heat was terrible. Everything else was really great.
Was there I mean, did you see, and again, you know, just for a little bit of background, John, I mean, everybody around this table has been in the archery industry. We've worked for an archery manufacturer for many years. And John still does, and obviously, Cory, you own your own shop. But it seems like so many shops you talk to have started out of necessity, usually because either A, it was just a passion for somebody, and they were good at it. They were like a good mechanic. I think working on bows and cars, there's always a lot of parallels. Being at the mechanics and even the marketing and sales of it is very similar. It takes very similar paths. But did you find that, you know, opening your shop, you and Dustin, was it a necessity because there was nobody else doing it and you thought you could, you know, capitalize on it, or, you know?
No, you know, because I think, honestly, I do think we're lucky out in the Northwest of actually having really good shops. You know, you hear all the horror stories on, you know, Archery Talk of, you know, all these bad shops, and I think that's due to shop on top of shop on top of shop, and out here we are spread apart a little bit more. So I think we have some good shops. It was more of a passion, honestly, and people constantly telling me, you should open a shop, because I'd help people out, and God, you really know what you're doing. I wish you would open a shop. You should open a shop. And I didn't know the first thing about business. I don't know the first thing about any of that, and or to come up with finances or to do it. So Dustin's family was kind of, they own a lot of businesses and have done that, and he's managed things before, and so it was kind of a stepping stone, or somebody to hold my hand and say, hey, let's go do this. And so I was able to do it. Wife was scared shitless, to say the least, about doing it, and it wasn't so bad because I did have a real job at the time, so I did have something to fall back on. But it was scary and fun, but no, it was just more of a passion, honestly, and I know so many of the people in the industry, in the shops, because I was shooting a bow and traveling around to tournaments and stuff, that so it wasn't something that these guys aren't doing it right and I can do it better, but so
yeah. And like you said, I mean, shop on top of shop on top of shop, that kind of breeds, people are scratching at every nail and to get people in the shop, whether it be employees, and I think the quality of service goes down in that circumstance.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not the case for a successful shop out west. You're not going to stay in business very long unless you have good customer service and you know how to work on the product. For example, XXX. So I think that's that's a reason. I mean, it's kind of there's some ingredients.
It's one of those things
successful.
too. It's a double-edged sword. The busier I get, the harder it is to be able to give the service, to be able to give a lot of time on one-on-ones, and that's frustrating because I really truly believe that that's probably one of the biggest things of why we've been as successful as we have been is the service. Being in a small town and kind of a small shop, and guys could come in and sit down and get some really good one-on-one time for sometimes hours on end, and it gets busier and busier, and it just gets harder and harder to do it. So
that cuts in on hunting time. I know it does.
No, it don't. I still have the key to the door.
Yeah,
I still can lock it.
Well, you make a good point, and that's kind of like I was drawing that parallel between car mechanic. I mean, for archery, and tell me what you think about this, but you still have one of those products where consumers have to come in. They don't have to, and obviously online sales, I'm sure we can talk about that a little bit later in the podcast. But for the most part, people are kicking tires or whatever. They need to come in and get fitted or shoot a bow. And it's rare now to do in today's digital age and online sales is that you have a product where brick and mortar stores are still really important.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know any other industry that
probably pawn shops might be the other one.
Well, that are really hands-on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That is that. Like I say, hands-on of it goes from teaching a first-time shooter, or talking about hunting and helping a guy out on tuning. There's just endless amount of service that is provided. Or
so you said hunting. Do you find a lot of people coming in saying, like, hey, I want to get into archery and I want to shoot a bow, but then the conversation kind of migrates towards, well, how do you call elk, and how do you hunt deer? And I got these deer in my backyard. I mean, how do I go? I mean, where it's,
I mean, it's all kinds of different questions about about that, but mainly it's for out here. Still the biggest thing is elk, and that's still my biggest passion too, is hunting elk. So there is a lot of questions on how to call elk, and how to set up on elk, and it's just how to elk hunt. There's so many different things, but yeah, it stems from every part of it. I mean, there's how to shoot a release, to how to call an elk in, how to tune a bow, how to backpack, how to hunt wilderness type of stuff. It's just endless kind of questions and teaching. It's, you don't go buy a car and they teach you how to drive it. It's kind of different, It's so.
Well, and that you guys started off at grassroots level, and as you grow, I mean, the whole reason, like you mentioned, the double-edged sword, and that's, I think, we've seen that working on the manufacturer side a lot, talking to a lot of different dealers that people get into it because they're really passionate. A lot of times we've heard on the phone with dealers, you included. I love teaching new people. I love teaching people that have never shot or been in the sport of archery. I love teaching them how to shoot, and like kind of seeing their that first time expression. Well, the bigger you get, the less time you probably have for that. I imagine it's tough, because I mean that's the whole reason you're into it, and then it gets to be such a much bigger.
Well, definitely come July and August, I get definitely cranky, and it is just really, it just eats me up because I feel so rushed and panicked because it's so busy.
Yeah.
And that's not why I do the shop. I like being able to sit down and talk and help people, and then get those pictures or those thank you letters of going, hey man, you tuned my bow, or you taught me how to do that, and I call the bull in, and those are what it's all about. But like I said, come that later part of the year, it's just chaotically rushed, and it bugs me a lot.
Do you think that's because a lot of consumers just kind of wait till the last minute?
Yeah,
to get ready, because our season here.
I mean, but we do it. I mean, it's just us in general. I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm going on a trip and I'll pack. When I get ready to go hunting, I'm packing the day before. Other people, there's a few people that will pack, a week ahead of time. Not me. I like the.
Yeah, not me either.
And it's Christmas shopping. It's everything.
Yeah.
Christmas is the same time every year, but we all wait till the last minute. It's part of the business.
Sure.
But
That's got to add to some of your frustration. I mean, you make a good point to just the general public, people, of today. They expect everything from their smartphones to their cars. I mean, everything, any information that they want, or product for that matter. I mean, you can order something online now and have it like delivered that afternoon or the next day. Groceries. People are doing groceries where you can buy milk online. So, here we're kind of stuck in archery. It's interesting because
but that's what saves archery.
Yeah,
is because it's such a hands-on experience of, and granted, there's a lot of people that realize, well, hey, yeah, I bought this online and now I gotta figure it out. Or there's some people that are and I was kind of one of those people. I think where I just did a lot of my own work. I didn't, it was just, but was my passion. Just same thing with computers. I mean, there's people that fix their own computers. I have no idea how to do that stuff. Somebody else is fixing that thing for me.
Yeah, we just call Nate for that.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you need a good computer guy, Nate's available.
If it's my own, then my wife fixes it. But
Yeah.
it's one of those.
The last guest we had on, plumber's toilet's always broke,
Yeah.
And it's we talked about before we went, before we started recording, like you talk about how little you shoot, or at least the passion for shooting, not hunting. Hunting passion seems to really never go away.
No,
but the shooting,
the shooting passion is definitely not there anymore as far as competing. And I think it's just being a competitor, seeing yourself shoot at a level at a point of your life, and then not being able to put forth the effort that takes to be at that level. It's extremely hard to go and shoot below your ability. And everybody's always like, oh, just go shoot and have fun. And shooting good is really fun. Shooting bad is just not fun when you've shot good majority of your life. And like I was saying, to me, it's time for me to probably step away from the target side of it until I get that hunger back. And I was finding myself more frustrated at the end of the day than being rewarded by taking a day off of work, or I'd rather be at work than go out and shoot my bow poorly, and so I was just tired of being frustrated, and the lack of the passion is not helping that part. So I still enjoy all the people of the tournament world, and if I have a time off, I'll probably go. If I go, is he underneath there snoring, or is it?
No.
He's around the corner.
I thought I kicked him.
No,
I think he's in the other room.
He's in the other room.
And he's snoring that loud.
Yeah, people that are listening, you probably can't pick it up, but Cory, you're a pretty famous feller.
Not as famous as Casper.
Not as famous as your, who's Casper?
My bulldog.
Your husky, thick bulldog.
Yeah.
He goes, Casper's goes what, 70
75,
pounds?
77 pounds right there.
So you sell mountain ops in the shop, right?
Yeah.
Are you supplementing your dog food?
Yes. He's on Magnum.
He is
It all makes sense now.
Whey protein.
Yeah. But no, if you follow Cory on Facebook or any of the social platforms, you probably see more. Does Casper have his own social page?
He does.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So follow Casper at where at?
He's just Casper Miller on Facebook there. Yeah. So.
He has definitely more followers than the Crave podcast does.
I would bet.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. So we're gonna ask Casper to share our page.
Yeah. In fact, some people in the community that I ran into on our way up here said, Casper accounts for 40 to 50% of the foot traffic.
He does. Well,
which is a great reason to have a bulldog.
When my wife has the day off, and then he stays home with her, and so it upsets customers definitely. They'll come in. I just came in to see the dog.
Sorry.
Yeah. But he brings them in.
Yeah. Could I interest you in some cherry lube while you're here?
So what do you sell? What do you talk to us a little bit about archery in 2017 and compared to what it was like in 2005 when you guys started.
When we started, we were just two bow lines at that time. We were a Bowtech and Hoyt dealer at that time.
Why'd you pick those lines? Or what? You got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, back then too, there wasn't as many lines as there is today. But it was still. I felt you have to have at least one or two of the major lines. There's really 4 major companies out there, and. So
who are in your mind? This is never controversial. So what do you think?
PSE, PSE. I think it's PSE, Hoyt, Matthews, and Bowtech are the top 4 major bow companies, and then there's a lot of other bow companies out there that are, splitting that pie. And so that's what we started out with, was the 2 lines, and then. think we picked up a line here and there that just, tried to grow it, and it didn't really work out with some of those other smaller lines. And then we ended up bringing PSE in, and so then we were with those 3 lines for quite a while, and then we went down to just PSE and Bowtech. Yeah, I think that was in 2008 or 9, 10, somewhere in there. Probably 10. And then ended up picking up Elite, and then picked up Prime, and then I just picked up Obsession. So now we've got 5, 6, I guess, counting Diamond, 6 lines. And it's kind of changing. The industry is changing because there's a lot of good high-end bows, and so now it's kind of getting pretty even across the board as far as the Bowtech sales, PSC sales, Elite sales, and Prime sales as far as the high-end bows. I think why the other 4 major companies are still the 4 majors is because they have a complete line, from a $299 bow to a $1,400 bow, and everything in between. So.
What is the segment that you are seeing that's probably growing the most in the last few years?
As far as price point goes?
No, market segment. Is it?
Oh.
Which kind of can go hand in hand. But is it kids, women?
Well, for me, it's none of that really. When the Hunger Games came out, I think the inner city stores, just went off the hook with women and kids.
Right.
For us out here in a little bit more of the rural district, all the kids have already seen a bow before. They understand hunting, and we're more of a hunting community out here versus the recreationally target shooters. So I haven't really seen a whole lot of a change in it. So to me now, it's, I guess the change is more of the backcountry stuff, information of hunting harder, hunting further, hunting, being a little bit more picky about what arrow am I shooting, how much front and center, a little bit more techie, I guess, on that side of stuff. There's a lot more information about everything out there now with umpteen different podcasts and stuff. The information is getting out easier to people, and so more and more people are listening and having questions and calling and coming in asking things.
Now, do people seek you out because you're known, you've been on other podcasts, and you've been doing this long enough that you pay attention to that sort of thing, and as far as being a wealth of knowledge, again, it kind of goes back to a mechanic of a car. People seek you out. Are you people seeking you out for that information? Do you notice that coming from different parts of the state, or even out of state?
I get I get probably 2 to 4 phone calls a day on arrows from all over the country.
Yeah.
Alabama, Florida, Wisconsin,
really,
Texas, and a lot of those people, and I think are back east who don't have knowledgeable elk hunting staff at their stores. Are taking these trips to come out and do an elk hunt, and so they have seen me on a podcast or whatever and know we're out here hunting elk, and so trust you and want to call about making sure they're getting the right setup for an arrow, setup to kill an elk.
Well, and so much of that stuff's applicable to whatever you're hunting, whether it's hogs or whitetail or whatever. Not to hunting big game, I guess there's probably more attention to detail. Would you guys agree? As far as kinetic energy and momentum and that sort of thing, and
Yeah, there can be. I mean, it depends on the person.
Right.
It's definitely the industry's changed. I mean, it used to be about light and fast, and now it's definitely about more forgiving and heavy and front of center. Is definitely, I don't get a whole lot of guys talking about speed and how fast and how light can we make my arrow.
Right.
It's
Well,
what's
that's one
my
of the-
FOC? How heavy is this arrow? What's my kinetic energy?
That's a pretty big change too since you opened the shop. I mean,
Yeah.
bows have, it's 30, 40, 50 feet a second kind of across the board speed increase since those early days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people realized that they didn't shoot the speed bows as well.
Sure.
Speed's not free. Something gives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether
Doesn't
or not
really
it be the draw cycle, the hold, the aim, the inconsistency of just the shot.
Yeah.
The thing I like about a speed bow is that I can just slow it down. I
Yeah.
can throw a heavy arrow.
Make it feel really
I can
nice.
throw it heavy.
Or back the poundage
About
off
the poundage down.
Yeah, make it feel nice.
That's sort of,
Sure.
I was like, I would rather work easier than harder.
Right.
I can pull 10 pounds less and still shoot faster.
Yeah.
We're,
Sure.
we're,
Are those-
go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just.
No,
are
please.
those are the potential listeners of those other podcasts? Are they seeking you out, just Googling you up, or are those guys posting your personal cell phone at the bottom of the page on the podcast? Like
No,
we're gonna do?
I think they do. I think they are seeking. They are actually looking and doing. There's
Finding out who this mountain man is.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they're hitting images too
Yeah.
in their searches.
Could be.
Oh, I gotta call this guy.
He might be stumbling upon you on accident and looking for other stuff.
Yeah. I want to know.
I know a lot of women named Cory.
What spine that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We were
In that
talking
one
about bow
picture-
setup on the way up here a little bit, and we were kind of curious as to your thought on. Do you think obviously there's been a lot of advancements on bows and cams and different types of cam systems in the last especially 7-8 years it seems like. But do you think setting up a bow today, even though they do have a higher speed rating, most of them do than they did 10 years ago, is it easier? Or is it more difficult? Obviously,
I think it's
slower
easier.
bows. Do you?
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's easier. The engineers are getting better about how to place the grip, where to place the grip, the angles of the grips. The limbs have gotten better. String material has gotten better.
You think string, and me personally, I think something that's overlooked all the time, when people have a bow is the string, because it's probably not the sexiest part of the bow. That people always like to talk about the cams and the riser design and how fast it is and whatever, if it's a split limb or a solid limb bow. But to me, the string and cable quality is by far the most important piece of the puzzle. What do you think?
Yeah. It is. If it's not stable and it's constantly changing, then the bow's only going to be in tune for that long.
Mm-hmm.
So, string material, they keep coming up with different materials, but we all keep going back to the same stuff. It seems like
What's your go-to?
452X.
Now you make your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
What
452X BCY.
How do you market those strings? If I wanted to go out and I wanted to buy a set of Cory Miller strings, I'm thinking more like a mauve and like light yellow combo speckle, maybe a black speckle.
Now,
I can do it.
Now,
I
are you
really
building
don't.
pumpkin with
Like
red
just
flake?
for the shop? Are you building
Yeah,
custom strings for the
no,
shop?
I
You're not.
pretty much just try to stick to the shops because
You'd be swamped.
Because, well, it is. The other thing is, as you two know, that not all the specs that are put on the stickers of the bows are correct.
Erroneous.
Fallacy.
Erroneous.
Everything that comes from a factory is dead on accurate.
And so, for me, I want to have the control to where I can build it, and if it's not right, I can fix it before I call the customer up and have the customer come in and say, "Oh, yeah, here's your bow." I send out strings, and the guy puts them on, and things half-inch at a time because the specs are wrong on the string, on the bow itself. So I would rather know ahead of time before the customer comes in. That is fixed and understood. And that's part of, I just would rather just build strings for my customers that are coming in than just building strings. I get too many other things to do.
Yeah. So it's actually you're building the string.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have somebody building it for you there in the shop.
Cody, I got a new employee, Cody,
Yeah.
and Cody is caught on real quick and helping out and doing strings, and so we're both tag teaming on into it. But anymore, like I say, it's getting so busy where I need to either be talking with customers or I'm on the phone with customers doing that. So yeah, it's nice to be able to have and trust that he's on top of it. But like I said, having the bow there and then having the knowledge of understanding what the bow's supposed to do when the strings are on it, so we can fix all that stuff, so we can build string and man, what is up with this, and fix it, and get it right. But no, I mean, originally when we first started, it was like, hey, this will be a great idea when it's slow, and it was a good idea. But now it's busy, and
Yeah.
so, and I don't know.
A lot of challenges to keeping up with that kind of stuff, and keeping up with the the level of service, like you said. So that being said, what's the best thing about being an archery shop owner, and what's the worst thing, in your opinion, for Cory?
Doing podcasts would be the worst thing.
These guys sleep on my floor, drink all my beer, eat my food.
Yeah. True.
As far, I mean, there's so many positive things for me, but those same positive things are also some of the same negative things. I'm my own boss. I make my own decisions, but those same decisions keep me awake at night while I'm laying in bed.
Yeah.
This bill's due, that bill's due. Did I get that work order done? Did I order that product? Those things are probably the hardest part of it, I guess. It never stops, I guess. The phone's constantly going at night with social media, texts and emails and Facebook Messenger, instant messengers, and I'm just kind of one of those guys too, where I just feel like if I've read it, I have to respond to it because I find it rude.
Yeah.
So it is very hard for me to turn it off. I'm trying more to set the notifications to stop notifying at a certain time at night and in the mornings. But there's a ton of positives. Like I say, watching a guy kill his first elk or seeing the pictures of it, seeing little kids shoot their first arrows, or women and wives shoot their first arrows, just in the range there, and having the control. Like, I can shut the door and go hunt. It just affects the pockets, but
Yeah. I was. You answered that earlier, but I was curious on how much time you get out, like throughout.
Yeah, I pretty much. I've told myself this isn't worth it if it consumes every part of my life, and so no matter what, I'm going to take. Whether or not I get somebody to work the shop or not work the shop, but I'm going to take, 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks to go hunt elk. Definitely, I wish I could go the first week, but I just, I draw the line. I'll put everybody else first.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody else is taken care of, and then the last 2 weeks, it's kind of like I did all I could do. I gotta go, and I think for the most part, everybody understands that. I mean, why would you own an archery shop if you don't enjoy hunting elk? Because it ain't for the money.
That's for sure.
Does it seem to slow down once the season starts?
Yeah, it does. But
So it
but
makes it
you
easier.
still feel bad about the people that are in there. Usually are emergencies.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
Oh, God, I ran my bow over.
Right.
I left my bow in the truck and somebody broke in and stole it.
Cut my string with a broadhead or
Yeah,
something like that.
those type of things, and that's where definitely making strings, is a reward, knowing that, that last minute emergency, I can get a guy going without having to order strings and waiting 4 days or 3 days or a week and a half, depends on where we order from. But so I think definitely the good outweigh the bad. So.
Well, and one thing I think probably every archery shop, especially archery only shop across America, what they struggle with is probably finding good help because it's so seasonal. In most places anyway, you have a giant spike in June, July, August, September, and then maybe another spike in around Christmas when the new models come out, and you have some target shooting. But
I've kind of found that really our slowest time is September, October, and then PSEOs releases October 1, and then every bow manufacturer starts. It seems like every 2 weeks somebody's pretty much releasing bows. So, that November, guys are starting to see new bows in the catalogs or on the internet and kind of sparking some interest. Washington has a late season, so that kind of gets a little bit of stuff going. Then you fall right into Christmas. Then you fall into tax returns and sportsman shows, and then you've got tag results, and then it's hunting starting, and here we go. So it's starting to, it's actually staying busy almost the entire year now.
Yeah.
But finding the right help is tough because it's more than just a text knowledge. It's the whole big picture. It's they've got to have good customer service skills. They've got to have good morals and values, and the technical stuff can be learned. So like if I was looking to hire somebody, the technical side of it would be probably my least part because I can teach that. But I don't know if you can really teach people customer service skills. I think people just have it or they don't have it, and dealing with the public. Some people just are not made to deal with the public, and other people are, and so.
Well, and deal with all aspects of the public. I think archery shops. It seems like there's a new wave. Younger generation. Obviously, we continue to grow with the sport that is getting much more balanced and more customer service oriented, because gone are the days, and I think archery shops have always kind of got painted with that brush with the old regime as very intimidating places to go because it was very male oriented, it was a boys club and guys went in there and they hung out. It was a coffee clutch type of thing where
or it's more expensive.
But also, you didn't have. You're very aware of your competition. That people don't have to buy from you. Where 20 years ago, online sales were just starting. And big boxes were not the powerhouses they are now. But now it's like So I think you had combined with that kind of ultra ego, macho aura that went along with an archery shop. They also had the fact that you're like, well, I can be a dick. I can sell to my boys.
Yep.
I can be who I want to be, because where else are you going to go and buy a bow?
Exactly.
You got to buy it here. And at that time there was, maybe 3 or 4 manufacturers that were making quality products. And so it's like, if you own those, it's like you own the market. Now, if I go into XXX Archery and I don't like the customer experience I had, I can probably drive not too far and find another shop. Yep. But I also can go on my phone while I'm in your shop and buy a bow from someone else.
Yeah.
So it's a different landscape.
It is. I would say the compliments or what I hear why people drive 4 or 5 hours to my store is the customer service and the knowledge. Customer service always being number one, and then the knowledge is being two. So it's not about price, and for the most part, I mean, the price part's really not there. It's everybody pretty much sells for the same type of stuff, and it's so it comes down to, honestly, it does come down to customer service and then knowledge, but
And the free back rubs for every boat purchase.
That's right.
yes,
Deep
yes.
tissue.
I thought about coming up and buying a couple for 2 back rubs.
What else do you sell? Bows, arrows, all the goodies that go with it. What else do you sell?
I sell Cafaro packs,
Backpacks.
backpacks. What else do I sell? Broadheads, arrows, releases.
Boots, clothes, anything like
No
that?
boots. A little bit of clothing. Those are just tough.
Yeah.
Things with a bunch of sizes and colors.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Well, and people probably come to you for a reason, and that's to buy a bow,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
You got a techno hunt now, right?
Got a techno hunt.
Yeah.
well, you do some optics too, don't you?
Yeah, I do a little bit
Vortex?
of a little bit of vortex stuff. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the arrows is a big one for me.
Yeah.
I do a lot of Black Eagle arrows.
So on the same side of the coin as customer service, as far as, are you I mean, with all the different manufacturers out there now, be it arrows or releases or drop away rest, whatever, are you finding yourself you can be quite a bit more picky with who you want to do business with and who you want to sell? Be it margins are the same and quality is the same.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely deal with companies that I believe in, and that I have relationships with. Definitely, there's a lot of good product out there, but it's kind of that same token. It's like, for the most part, all that stuff that I sell, there's a friendship along with a business relationship. So, and definitely there's a few products that are definitely deeper than others as far as that friendship part. And it coming from such a small store and still kind of having that small store atmosphere, that goes a long ways of knowing when an owner calls up and knows my name and not my ID number.
Yeah.
Is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is this OR 2035
Yeah.
speaking?
Hey, at least you know my number.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's I definitely like dealing with certain groups of people. They're good people. So, and they make good products. So I've gotten, and I think that's probably one of the other benefits is, all the people that you meet, across the country, through the industry. You get to go to the trade shows and see people and keep in contact. And
It is. It's a fun community. It's a small community when you really look at it. And you do go to the trade shows and you're like, oh, I know that guy and that guy and that guy and that gal and that couple, and I know the name of their kids and their dog. And, then you fly to, Vegas and you see the same people, and
yeah,
you get in the chat rooms and you get to see the same people.
But I've got, quite a few of my manufacturers, they just call up just to chit chat, not to sell products, just to see what Cory Miller's doing and vice versa. And it's nice. So,
from you've been shooting a long time, and I know you said even though your target side has kind of cooled off a little bit. What do you see, as far as tips and advice you can give shooters, whether they're seasoned or just starting? I mean, what do you see that people struggle with the most with archery? Is it, target panic? Is it judging distance? Is it,
probably target panic and just actually, honestly, lack of practice.
Explain target panic. Like, how would you explain target panic? Because I know how I perceive target panic, but I think it could be different from some other people.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the meat and potatoes of it is the fear of missing, the fear.
So what happens?
Typically lock low. Most people will end up locking below the target.
So that means they're pulled back. They generally start below the target. And they're anchored.
No, it doesn't. Not necessarily how they start their target, because a lot of people can, even for me, when I have a fear of missing out the top. Stupid, weird, but
Yeah.
I'll come in from the top. I'll come in from the bottom. I'm pretty much on target when I hit anchor.
Yeah.
And I like to be out of the bottom, and I like to sag in the bottom. That's my comfort spot, is sitting in the bottom of the dots, because I'm scared to miss out the top. It's
When you say you're scared to miss out the top, does that mean like you're scared to like airball, like straight up, like
no,
or just miss high?
I don't know.
Going from a 12 to a 10 or 12 to 10 to an 8.
Yeah,
just
and
high.
if you can look at all my targets on the wall, and every one of them will have a just caught at 6 o'clock. Yeah. It will be a rare deal that you will ever see an arrow high on me. Every arrow, if I ever miss, it will be 6 o'clock. I like to hold low, and then usually my misses are a dip bang. The bow dips out and shot will break. But it's a release thing that cures me from the anxiety of shooting an arrow. There's what's causing it. A lot of people don't get it because they actually don't really aim much. They just kind of come up and shoot it.
Yeah.
Where most people start getting it is when they start getting introduced to target archery, where there's a dot, and then they start trying harder than making it as simple as it can be. Put the pin on there and squeeze the trigger. It's how simple it is, but we get in the way. So they start trying too hard, and I think another big key is release aids being way too soft, way too fast. And that's usually because they're used to just slapping at the release. So they just, I just barely have to touch it and it goes off. Well, that's great until it starts to matter and you try to aim. And then what happens is a shot breaks really fast before you were ready. And then you got scared, like, oh, shoot. Whew. And so the next thing you know, you're sneaking on the release, and then you're like, whoa. Not yet, not now, and then you're hammering at the release. You're not touching that release because if I touch it, it's going to fire. Well, I'm not on the dot yet, so I don't want to touch the release. So you're constantly battling this thing that's going through your brain.
When physically you have all the you can do it. It's nothing physically, like you said. It's all in your head.
It's all in your head.
It's all in your head.
It's all in your head. And for me, I get panic when I have control of a button, of a release aid, whether or not be an index finger or a thumb. I have control of making either one of those things fire. And so
when your brain says shoot, you can do it.
I get anxiety.
Yeah.
And if I'm relaxed by myself, I can break really good shots. But then as soon as it matters, or in a competition or somebody's watching, it creeps back in. And once it starts, I can't stop it. Where I shoot a hinge for target stuff, I don't ever get anxiety. I do like to aim low in the dot. It's where my brain relaxes and the pin stops moving. If it's weird, because if I come up and I'm in the middle of the dot, I instantly want to get it out of the dot and get to the bottom, and it's like it scares me to see it in the middle. Yeah. It's crazy.
It is so. I mean, Nate, do you ever experience TP?
No, actually, I don't. It's really nothing I've dealt with.
We're gonna keep talking about it until you get some.
Yeah,
So-
he'll get on you.
Yeah.
That's when you start talking about it. That's
Yeah,
when
it jumps like a spider monkey.
Yeah.
I do tend to punch the trigger a fair bit. I don't think it's necessarily because of target panic. I just
punchy.
probably
Yeah. There's
twitchy.
It's
I
your
guess
twitchy
I don't
nature.
know. Yeah.
But there's definitely people that can just put a pin on there and just hold it and just go, and it's not a
I've
big
seen
deal.
phenomenal target or trigger punchers, you know, that shoot very, very well. I was one of them for a while. But
We'll be at tournaments and we'll see new people and just be going, oh my God, is that guy just hammering that trigger? He's shooting good. For a while, it's gonna catch him.
Yeah.
And you just keep thinking, I wonder if today's the day, but it will. It seems like,
So how do you
it catches
break it
them.
when you get a spell? Because people go in and out of it. People get bouts of it and they cure it and they get
You quit.
back into it. That's how
Yeah.
yeah.
Quit archery.
I go fishing for a while.
It's either you learn to somewhat deal with it, or you quit, or you spend a ton of time truly practicing and breaking, and it's a long, hard process. And so the problem is a lot of people don't want to put in the effort. It's like, for me, I know if I put in the effort, I could learn to shoot a button, but I don't want to put in the time. I don't feel like I need to put in the time because I shoot a hinge too well.
You pompous
It's like,
bastard.
I just don't need to.
Yeah.
I don't.
What do you shoot hunting?
I shoot a regular index, and the reason is
Do you hammer it?
You bet. And that's the reason.
Yeah.
I wish, I could shoot a hinge hunting. I wish I could mentally just
So
go,
real quick, just for the people that are listening, just real quick, explain hinge, button, index.
So an index finger is typically your wrist strap release.
What most people shoot.
Yeah, most people will shoot, and you have a trigger that you use with your index finger. A button is a handheld with a thumb trigger.
Usually a 3 or 4 finger pull.
Yep, 2, 3, 4 finger. What most people will say is a back tension is a hinge, which has no trigger. It's all on a rotation. Back tension is not a release. Back tension is a form of shooting, and all 3 of those triggers are supposed to be shot the same way with your back. Your back is, you're supposed to be able to hook into your trigger and just pull through that trigger with your index, pull through it with your thumb, or pull through it with your whole hand. So they're all shot the same way. And so a lot of people will think, well, God, I've been slapping the trigger, and I need to get one of those handheld ones. And I probably flat out tell you, if you're punching here, you're going to punch it here.
Yeah.
And then once you learn to punch it here with the hinge,
Yeah. You'll do it that way.
you might
too.
as well stop shooting.
Yeah.
Because it's when you've ran out of different releases to help stop it.
Yeah. Band-Aids.
Yeah. I learned how to punch a thumb and I learned how to punch an index. I have not learned how. I know how.
Yeah.
I know what would make it happen, but I have not learned how to actually shoot it that way. And so that's why I still shoot a hinge, and that's why I refuse to ever hunt with a hinge, because I will learn really fast how to punch one.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ever learn how to punch it. Because hunting, there's times where you just definitely have to command it. That animal's walking, and it's a now shot.
Right.
So, and there's nothing wrong with that. So for me, my biggest effort is sighting my bow in. So I sight my bow in usually with a hinge. I get all my speed tapes, all my yardage marks, everything's all done off a hinge, and then I just punch my hunting.
Yeah. I don't think you're
Punch
alone.
my tag and punch my hunting.
Yeah. I
So,
don't think you're alone on that one for sure.
so
I remember growing up, I had a really bad case of target panic, and same thing. I'd freeze low, and if you're listening, I'd get to the pin to the bottom of the deer, or target, whatever I was shooting at, and not as bad on live animals, probably because I wasn't thinking about it as much, but it's so bad that I would jerk my bow up to the zone, and again,
As soon as you saw
and,
hide,
Well,
you
you
just let her.
and I just
A
cut it
good
loose.
telltale sign is, do I have panic? Draw back, keep your finger behind the trigger. See how good you aim.
Oh, yeah.
You'll aim like a tank.
Amazing. As soon as you bring
Put
that
your finger
in
on the
front.
trigger. See
Yeah.
how good you aim.
Yeah.
I had target panic so bad. So like, next weekend is Reading, which is the biggest tournament around. It seems like it's a marked yardage 3D tournament. I think we've all been there. It's orange dots, marked yardage, so there's no guessing the yardage. I had target panic so bad that I had to look at the animal and figure how high from the armpit was the dot.
Really?
And so if it was a 40-yard target and I'm looking at it, I'm going to have to add 7 yards, and I would aim in the armpit and shoot the shot.
Because you could not.
Because
You could
I
not
could
physically
not
bring.
physically see that dot in my scope. I would freak out. And so,
That's so
I had to
weird.
aim almost in the dirt. I'd have to just kind of aim at the armpit. And
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
why I didn't ever quit is beyond me.
For what it's worth, there was the dealer I went to when I was a kid, archery. I don't even remember the name of the shop, but great dealer, and he had me stand 5 feet away from this target, and he just said, close your eyes. He said, just pull back your bow. He's like, don't worry about aiming. Close your eyes. And I could do everything mechanically just right. I mean, I would squeeze with my back, and I could do everything. As soon as I would bring my eyes, my sight into it, that's where I would have issues. But I mean, I went in there for a couple weeks straight where I would just shoot at his target at 5 feet, and I would never open my eyes until I got that repetition down over and over and
But
over.
see,
and over.
the problem with that is the good and the bad with that. The good part is it's teaching you how to execute the release, but it's not fixing the problem.
Well, it fixed it for me, but
Well,
At
it
the time.
usually fixes it until you open your eyes and then you see the pin move, and then you're
you
like, "Holy
I
shit!
don't know
I've
what
never
it
seen the
was
pin
because
move."
it did help. It helped a lot, and I think it was just because it started to become second nature to do it that way. But
So what I
Yeah.
try and teach people is definitely shoot with your eyes closed for a few shots. If you're learning a brand new release, definitely shoot longer. Shoot, a month or whatever of eyes closed. Just learn how that trigger breaks. How much tension am I pulling into this thing, and boom, getting the shot to break. But then shooting up close at a dot. Put the pin in there. You've got to tell your mind it's okay to put the pin on the dot. It's okay to see the pin move. It's okay to squeeze while it's moving.
yeah,
That's all okay. And so you have to train your brain to see that sight picture and say it's okay. And it's just like me. For me, my comfort is seeing my dot at the bottom of the dot. That's my comfort zone. It's just what I like to see. I don't like to see it in the middle. It scares me. But you have to train your mind that it's okay.
yeah.
So
That's how I kind of got over mine, is doing that technique. And I started up close, and
Because you had it bad. Not too long
buddy.
ago.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, it came out of nowhere like a spider monkey, like you said. And I,
You were.
oh man, it was so bad. Like,
I couldn't even shoot next to you.
oh, it was just bad.
It's creeping me out.
Tremors. It was, yeah. The guy would cave. Oh, I'd collapse, just like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Well,
And,
that was the other thing is like you get So I mean, we all know, but you
your mind shot the arrow, but it didn't go anywhere.
And then as soon as your finger touched the trigger,
So
you'd
I'd work
come
back.
off.
I'd work back to like 15 yards, 20 yards, and then I tell myself, okay, 20 yards for some reason mentally, that's the red zone. Like an arrow's, something's gonna die at 20 yards, right? So I'd be there at 20 yards in the range, and I'd tell myself, all right, come to full draw, hold the bow for 10, 15 seconds, and just keep your finger on the trigger, not behind the trigger, because it's totally different when you have your finger on the trigger, and just hold that dot, or hold your pin in the dot for as long as you can. Don't shoot the bow. I couldn't go like longer than 10 seconds. That bow was going off. I mean, that was the toughest thing for me to learn, to keep that pin there, have it move, and then let the bow down, to the point where I got tired. No, I'd shoot it. I'd shoot it like 50% of the time. Just because I couldn't, that dot would be floating. You'd try to time it, and
Yeah.
it was a mess.
It's an amazing.
I'm looking forward to
It's a
this
mental-
at some point. Really am.
You're going to get it now. I guarantee you'll
Yeah.
get it.
It's like motion sickness. Like I never
Just
had.
go
I
start
never had
shooting a
any-
bunch of indoor leagues and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why I haven't experienced it much, because I
put all your
haven't
effort
shot
on
much
shooting a
competition.
300 and you'll have it.
Yeah.
That'd be a good
Oh, I
would you
imagine
rather.
so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What's
Another
that?
time.
But
Oh,
Nate,
sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, we
You
have a
go
would
ahead.
you. We have a would
We
you
have a would you
rather
rather.
segment every podcast, and this would target panic would be a good option
We'll bring it
for the
up.
future.
I already feel like we've rattled him enough. I can see he's already got the shakes and
Yeah.
cold sweats from thinking about
Well,
it.
see, and I've been shooting
So glad we brought it up.
I've been shooting a recurve.
I don't even like talking about it. I really
know.
don't.
I've been shooting a recurve, and I had a
It which shall not be named.
I had a guy come in, and he's got an Olympic style recurve, and watching that clicker just gave me panic.
Oh yeah.
It's like
So he.
I
what's a
really
clicker?
I would really like to shoot like Olympic style recurve. Like I'd like to see how I could do and see it looks kind of fun, but that clicker screams target panic to me. If you know what a
explain
clicker
what that
so
is.
the clicker is it is basically a little wire that comes over the arrow. So as you draw the bow, as you keep drawing, it falls off that arrow, it goes click. Well, when it falls off there and goes click, you let go. So it's just basically, instead of your mind saying now, that damn thing's saying now. And so to me, it's just screaming.
Keeps you aiming.
Yeah, so
That's the idea.
so you're supposed to
Same-
pull,
same
and you pull
draw
to
length
the
every time.
Yeah, exactly the same draw length. Because on a recurve, every bit you draw is the same
Right.
poundage. The poundage just keeps going up, so you get highs and lows, and it keeps you pulling
that
through
would
your
be
shot.
horrible
But
for me.
for me to sit there and just, it'd be like somebody standing right next to me going, "Now!" I just watched him shoot one arrow, and I was like, "Ugh," it just gave me the wibbies. So, but I've been shooting the recurve, so there's no clicker, no sight, no. It's been kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, we've all kind of went back to that. We've all shot recurves more and more in the last 24 months. It seems like just a lot of it was because it was just something new and it was fun again. And it was like, I enjoyed shooting knowing that, I suck. I suck bad at this, or like I'll have a good day and I'll have, some times where I'm shooting 3-4 arrows where I want it. And then I'm completely missing, like I'm not missing the dot, I'm missing the animal.
Yeah.
Which is cool because that's, I don't know, it just was refreshing.
It's
Really
kind of like, for me,
refreshing.
it's like, bonk, I shoot an X. I'm like, bonk, I shoot an X. Grab a recurve, and it's like, when one goes in the middle, it's like, oh, that felt so good. That was so good. You shoot a compound, bonk in the middle, bonk in the middle. It's like, oh, it's out of the middle. Oh, this stupid thing. So there, it's like I can accept some of the misses, except for when I'm like, I'll be stacking arrows, and it's like 2 feet.
Yeah.
But I'm at a really disadvantage because I'm left eye dominant.
I shoot
And
right-handed.
I shoot right-handed. So
Yeah.
shooting a compound bow with a peep sight and a sight where I can close my eye and just burn through there, it's fine. But shooting a traditional bow and
Lefty took over.
Well, I go cross-eyed. It's like it's weird, and I've tried like closing the eye, and it just feels like it tunnels up so much. I just feel weird. So I really have to focus so hard on a dot. But it's cool when you're just staring right at it and you let go and it goes right where you were looking.
Yeah.
And then the next time it goes 3 feet away.
Ham bone.
Yeah.
Nate, you got any questions for Cory? We didn't get out other than the would you rather.
No, I don't think so.
You want to take him on that adventure real quick? Would you rather? Yeah, I'm thinking belt strap versus poison oak.
Yeah, so we were talking about the would you rather. If you're on a 7-day hunt in the backcountry, would you rather have your waist strap break on your pack
On your Kufaru pack.
on the hike in? So you gotta spend the whole
Never
hunt
happens.
with no waist strap, or have a bad poison oak outbreak that you're dealing with the entire hunt. Your strap's still working on your pack, but that's right where your poison oak outbreak is. So that strap's just rubbing,
it's a 7-day
rubbing it
hunt?
raw. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll-
You got oak all over your
Okay.
grundage.
Okay,
It's
I'll be cocky, and I'll take the poison oak because I'm probably only going to be there for 2 days.
That's
I
not
see.
how this works.
it'd be nice if we had work like that. But you are
You were staying in the bush
okay.
with
All right,
your
so
with
you
your
kill
buddies.
your bull on
Yeah.
the second day.
Yeah.
You
but
gotta
you're
hunt the
hunting
with the
the
rest
But
of us.
Aubie obviously needs some help. in
Okay,
there,
so
And weird. Aubie has poison oak all over his hands, which is weird.
Might be some correlation.
we can't go into town like this, guys.
that reminds me when Dustin worked at the store, we had a telemarketer call about human growth cream.
Deer antler spray.
And it was a cream, and Dustin's talking to the person like, well, so if I put that on my hand and I rub it on myself, will I have a big hand? And they're like, well, no. He goes, oh, well, I've always wanted like a really big hand. Just one big hand.
I can see him saying that.
Slightly bigger than the other one.
But gosh, I would probably take the poison oak, honestly. Mainly because I don't get poison oak, so I don't know really how bad it can be. But I do know how bad a pack out can be. So I'd take the poison oak.
Yeah. Nader?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would too. I've had poison oak really bad. A couple times bad enough it gets on my face. Well, this more when I was younger. Didn't know any better to not itch and scratch and spread it everywhere. But I've had my eyes swole shut a couple different times with that stuff. It's
Yuck.
I look at it and it starts to spread. But that being said, I'd still take the oak over the busted waist strap.
How
Yeah.
far in are we? How far? How far did we say?
5 miles.
5
Sure.
miles.
Yeah.
But you're walking miles every day.
You're big. Just carry it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm kind of. I mean, you know.
Most standard waist straps don't really fit you anyway, do they?
Well, I've broken 2 just over the last couple of years.
You need that
no
seatbelt-
fault of the pack.
Seatbelt extender.
No fault of the
Around there.
pack. Yeah.
That's the other thing. The guy that we were hunting with, Jake, from Wisconsin.
Not me, for people that are
Yeah,
listening.
the other
Even
Jake from
though-
Wisconsin.
And State Farm.
He did have khakis, but
He sounds
his
hideous.
pack had a ratchet strap
Really?
for a waist belt
Yeah.
because it broke. So he has one of those.
Wow. The clickers.
Yeah, it was.
That sounds real comfortable.
Not a bad
I
Jimmy
think
rig.
he was.
Dude, I'd take that
he
over
would
no
have.
strap,
He would have
though.
definitely taken the poison oak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
5 miles for 7 days,
Yeah.
and you get it on your first day.
Yeah, you have oak the whole time. Yeah.
or your belt broke on the first day too, because you fell into the poison oak when the belt broke.
Yeah.
Huh. That's pretty miserable because if you get that, you probably don't have anything to suppress it. You're just sweating.
Yeah.
You have
Most
no
likely you don't have hydrocodone
ointment.
or yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna rough it with. I'm gonna break. A
See, your
strap.
pack is totally not prepared. I have
Calamine?
no, but I have Vicodin. I have some kind of painkiller, something in there in case something happens.
I will have if it's like the first like big hunt. There will be some chafing cream in there.
Yeah.
There's always some chafing cream,
All right.
and then some other stuff, but not the stuff for oak.
Oak
Cherry
is tough.
flavored?
There's very
Chafing cream. Not for
Depends
oak
on where
camp.
you're hunting, though. I mean,
What are you gonna do?
if you know there's oak in there, I'd be taking it. Because
Well, if it's you, if you're lucky to get 5 miles in, there's normally a bull dead by then.
True. And I usually found oak at that point too, which I just today we met up and John's like, oh, looks like you got some sun on the back of your neck. I'm like, no, just had a pretty bad outbreak of poison oak and been itching it and running it under extremely hot water for the last 5 days. So I think my skin just.
So does it itch?
Oh, dude, it sucks.
Oak?
It's bad.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know
so.
if I've really
Yeah.
honestly ever had it.
Some people don't get it.
I'm itching
period.
right now
You know
just
what it looks
thinking
like,
about
though,
it.
right?
I got
Poison.
see that right
The
there. I know
plant
that's not
itself?
much, but it's I guess right there. That's poison oak. I know it's very little, but it freaking itches.
Go rub it on his face.
Please don't.
I think its expiration date's passed. I'm going to take as much as I've almost come to grips with living with poison oak. I will take the oak over the belt. I got to have my belt, man. I'd rather have a belt and no shoulder straps, almost. It's all belt. It's all about the belt. No straps.
Okay. Well, that's a good one.
Well, cool. This has been.
I was expecting John to put that to the All About the Bass song.
Oh, all about
Yeah,
base.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't
That's
do
where
that
I was
every
going.
time.
But
What'd you learn?
What did I learn? I learned that Cory Miller still gets pretty worked up even talking about target panic. I've learned that. That's what I learned. And guy's a phenomenal bow mechanic, and I'm really looking forward to my new G strings that he's going to build for my bow this year. So that is the name of your string company.
That is. Yep.
G strings. Just for all you out there, he's not giving me a G string.
great name for a string set.
yeah. So that's what I learned. What'd you learn, Johnny?
Oh, me?
Yeah, right back at you.
Sorry.
It's a bounce back.
I learned that. Let me see here. What did I learn? I learned that XXX received numerous awards over the last 3 to 5 years for being the Northwest's largest cherry lube dealer.
Edible lube?
Yes.
Edible
lube.
lube. Fantastic.
Yep.
He took
Congratulations,
mine.
We're
sir.
sold out.
Congratulations.
Why didn't you ask me first? That was mine.
That was yours? Yeah. All right. Corey, what do you think about it? Corey, what'd you learn?
I learned that I have a lot to look forward to in developing target panic at some
Yes.
point.
Yes, enjoy it.
So,
It's a hell of a journey.
yeah. Hopefully
so
that
bad.
doesn't occur at Reading next weekend.
Well, we haven't even set up
But-
our bows, so I'm sure you don't have time to get target
Yeah,
panic.
that's true.
You got time.
Expectations are low. That should help.
Yeah. Did you learn anything, Corey?
Yeah.
I learned I like to run.
You like to run. Yeah.
We learned that as
I
well.
learned that poison oak is itchy.
It's a bitch. I'm not sure why it exists, period.
To torture us.
Yeah.
Do animals get it?
No,
No,
but
they
animals
don't.
carry it. They carry
just an
the
oily-
oil. So if you shoot a nice early season blacktail and your elbows deep in it and you're dressing it, make sure you clean it up.
I suppose it's all over in Reading. At the tournament, everybody talks about it. Oh, don't go pee in the brush. There.
Wow.
Right.
Poison
Yeah.
oak. But I've never.
Oh, that's a good thing. You want to keep that streak going. Trust me. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm allergic to the sun. So
Really?
Do you break out?
No, I don't break out.
It
It's
surprises
just
me with your
with my
tan
yeah
complexion.
Well, that's actually ink. It's not
Yeah,
really
right.
pigment.
All right, so we'll close up shop, but we'll edit this out. You got a lot of you got a lot of ink, a lot of tattoos. What you got? Any meaning behind them, or just
what's the is that the devil?
That's the third eye. The devil?
is that Satan? Lucifer?
That means it's not good if you don't know what it is.
It's his favorite band. Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind?
No, Tool.
I wish
Yeah.
you.
Oh.
Tool.
Much better band.
Nice.
Tool.
Yeah.
The third eye. That's some more artwork from Tool.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
Oh,
What is
buddy.
that one? So you got on your arm, it's a dagger.
Yeah, it's kind of a skeleton dagger.
No, that's a
type of
perfect circle. That's not tool.
game. No, that's tool.
That other one's perfect circle too.
This one?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's
That's the third eye.
not the rapper.
Todd has his ringtone is Tool.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
Obviously there's some
I remember the first
correlation
time
there
I-
with
Yeah.
Perfect Circle.
Yeah.
And I mess with them all the time.
There's 3 bands.
Right.
What's the other
What's the
one?
other
We're
one?
thinking
What's the
about?
other one? Come on. What's the other one?
Pussifer.
Ah, you cheater.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was directed at the table.
It was a team effort. Score.
Yeah.
Yes.
Team Crave.
Anyhow, anytime his Tool ringtone goes off, I'm like, Perfect Circle.
Just to piss him off.
Yeah, he's just like, God,
Yeah.
good band.
Yeah.
He called me down to the pro shop one day to help me troubleshoot his computer because it wouldn't buy the tickets fast enough for the Tool show.
JavaScript
Yep.
messed up.
That was in.
No, that was just because the tickets were selling that fast.
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
there's no problem with it, Todd. It's just the site's busy. There's a lot of
Yeah.
other people that want to go to this show too.
That was what 2 years ago? Last year? 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a
about
while. It's been a long
Because
time.
you saw them up here in Portland.
Yeah.
And they played. in
I've
the
seen
too.
Pussifer more than Tool. I think I've seen Tool twice, Perfect Circle once, and Pussifer I think 4 times now.
Really?
I'd rather see Pussifer. In a way, just because it's more always in a small venue. It's more intimate. It's more about. There's more of a show going on. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. The Tool, you're just gonna kind of go there and just kind of zone out and just hear the music. It's and that's Maynard Dozy Heights. So you're not gonna go see a show. You're there to hear it. So where Pussifer, you kind of get the whole thing. You get everything. So.
Sweet. All right, so we'll come back in here.
But yeah, I was I get allergic to the sun, so it's not like a breakout, but it's where, and it's only like if my back gets burnt. So when my back gets burnt, it feels like little needles, like poking, and so it's like it itches, and if you scratch it once, then you're done, and then it just itches. And it itches so bad to where I've actually hallucinated. Yeah,
Really?
It's brutal. I'd go stand in cold showers and pretty much just have to go to the hospital and just get on steroids and painkillers.
Yeah.
So it's
Dude,
That sounds horrible.
That's worse than poison oak.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, poison
Yeah.
oak's not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's bad. We went to Hawaii
rough.
and yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the wife was mad. We went to Hawaii and I went out there swimming around and got burnt. Went to the hospital, so I spent the next 2 days hiring a kite on pain pills and steroids and just
Brutal, man.
yeah, it was
Brutal.
bad. But I did actually was able to this year was slowly go through a tanning bed and actually get a tan.
Build up a tolerance.
I did. And was able to go to Mexico and actually went snorkeling and did stuff and didn't
It
actually
doesn't
have a
matter if
breakout.
you put sunscreen on?
No, I can put sunscreen on, but I
just if
just
you
didn't.
forget.
But so most of the time I'll just wear a shirt,
Yeah, it
like if
seems
it's
like
real
you
sunny.
just Put that on.
I'm not. I don't really like to be without my shirt
Yeah.
Or your hat, yeah.
or my hat.
Yeah.
So
All right, if people want to find you, find XXX Archery.
well, it depends if you're searching from work. If you're
Yeah.
searning from work, you won't be able to
Images.
for the most part. They have a
many-
block on X on the third one.
On the third X.
Yeah, UPS they can't even punch the address in. So it's but yeah, you can Facebook XXX Archery or Cory Miller on Facebook. I'm definitely a little bit more actively on the Cory Miller page than I am on the XXX page. Instagram too. I don't even know what my thing is on Instagram. If it's XXX Archery or what.
Are you pretty? You welcome people asking you just general archery questions though, and that sort of thing, or
Only if you're going to buy stuff.
right?
Nah, I'm not a
Preferably over $100.
I'm not a real good typer, so I would prefer phone calls because it's like, man, how do I explain this typing? So yeah, phone calls aren't bad. So they can call the shop.
Cool. Or stop in.
Or stop in. Rainier, Oregon. Put
Yeah.
it in Oregon so we could save the sales tax.
Yeah, exactly.
So I live in Washington. So
Cool, man. Well, this was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Definitely.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Thanks for putting us up.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for the
Some more beers.
Yes.
the beers.
Beers. But no, we should. I was thinking we should come back up here and do something from your shop. You know, a little more interactive.
Yeah.
So
Shoot some techno hunt.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd
for
be
sure.
fun.
Nate can bring his dunk tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate's got a dunk tank.
We'll
Get you up there in that white
Portable.
shirt you like.
Yeah.
Nate will bring,
Wet shirt.
Nate will bring Nate will bring his finger tabs from Mr. June.
That's right. We'll strike a pose.
Cool, man. Well, as always, check us out on Facebook at just look for the Crave Podcast on Facebook. Like us, follow us. Check out our other episodes also on Instagram, the Crave Podcast. So, yeah, man, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.